Hello and welcome to another Albion Online Dev Talk. My name is Robin Henkys. I'm joined again by Jörg Friedrich, our Creative Director.
Hello.
We're back to talk to you about what's been going on, what's been happening, and what's going to happen. To give you a little bit of an overview, what we'll be talking about, we'll cover what's been happening since Cador, since our last update. We'll give you an outlook on our upcoming update, Darien. And we'll talk about the beta phase 2, which will happen sometime after Darien later this summer. What has been happening since Cador? We've been very busy, and not all of that we've been able to show you so far.
So yeah, last time I was sitting here, we were talking a lot about planning out the new world, and on my side, I moved from planning into execution. So we actually we built up a bigger team. We hired more level designers. We hired more artists. And started working on the new world, which will actually come with beta phase 2. So, I mean, one of the main reworks of the new world will be the new biomes. So basically, the world will be separated in 5 different biomes. Those are mountains, highlands, steppe, forest, and swamp. And we started working on swamp now. So this is our first biome. It's almost finished, and yeah, that has been a lot of fun. It's literally reworking the world, right? We don't take old maps and rework them somehow. No, we actually build new maps that cater to this specific biome, both not only visually but also in gameplay. So, for example, in the swamp, you will mainly find fiber, and that will make it feel very different to the maps that we have right now.
And then not only that, I mean, from what I've seen, we've also revised the level design rules themselves, the way that we lay out maps, and I think it'll feel almost like a new game in many ways because the world is changing so dramatically. It'll be really exciting to see that in action. And actually, when I saw the first concepts for the steps, I also had that feeling that this is going to be something different. This is going to feel completely fresh. So that should be really cool. We'll make sure we keep you updated there. As we said, there will be a separate video on this. So one thing you might have seen already is there will be a lot of new spells in Darien. This is part of Michael's ongoing effort to improve the tactical choices in combat and to try out combat concepts. Yeah, what he's been doing is mostly putting in spells which may actually not end up being on the exact weapons where you'll see them for now, but they are trying out cool new concepts like the flame orb, which you can roll down the field to set your opponents on fire. The tackle spell, which allows you to charge forward and deal damage and knock back opponents and stuff like that. The tornado, which actually allows you to create a whirlwind, and all these cool concepts he's trying out. And you'll get to see some of those in Darien, although some of them you might not see in beta 2 on the same weapons because we're really using this last phase of this beta to try out some of these spells. So that should be pretty cool. The other thing that we decided to do was to touch the Morgana faction again. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Yeah, the Morgana faction is the last one we haven't reworked yet. And for this update, we're going to focus mainly on the mobs and their abilities. There's going to be new mobs. There's going to be old maps with actually new abilities. To also follow the design direction that we actually figured out during the last couple of months, where we want to get people more into positioning right and moving around in the combat and not just standing there and hitting a mob. So there's the Death Knight. It's a big, tanky bastard of a mob, and he's really, really dangerous. And there's also new rewards, right? Mm-hmm. I heard.
Yes. I did sneak in a little bit of a update myself because I felt that was something we haven't really used enough in Albion, and that is the Morgana faction furniture. So basically, when you now go into the Morgana dungeons and you kill the bosses or the creatures, you have a chance to drop a rare piece of collectible furniture, and this is always inspired by the faction's decorations. So you can find a Morgana-style torch or one of their banners, but you can also find a whole pentagram or something cool to turn your territory or your island or whatever you want to decorate into something that's Morgana themed. If you don't really care about the item, you can also salvage it and break it down for silver. But I really hope a lot of you will take the opportunity to, shape Albion a little bit. And I think this is something that we'll be expanding on a lot in the future. It's just something that I was actually able to quickly do myself for the most part, which I couldn't let pass. So that's pretty cool. Then we have some features in Darien. 2 features: the item studying feature and the LP rework. The item studying feature is something we decided that we needed it to deal with some economy issues. What's mostly been happening is that people who craft items and just craft them to progress, they see no other choice but to put those items on the market. And typically those items will actually be undervalued on the market because the market kind of gets flooded by this. And you actually, as the back trader of King's Market, have been profiting from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will become slightly harder to do this.
I know.
Because what you can do now with studying is you can take an item that you don't want and you can break it down at the crafting station where it was made and basically analyze the parts to understand how it was made. That destroys the item, but you gain additional fame and Destiny board progress as if you were crafting the item again. And that should allow people who are purely interested in progressing to get the most out of those items and get as much progress as they possibly can out of it. But it doesn't end up on the market, and it drains that out of the economy and should actually make sure that there's stable prices for these items, that crafters can actually really profit from their items. So we're very interested to see how that works out. That feature will be available with Darien, as I said. And the other one is the LP rework. With the LP rework, we wanted to give those players who've stacked up a lot of learning points a way of spending those without having to play an insane amount of time. Because the idea behind the entire learning point system is to kind of even the odds for players who are not able to play an insane amount of time. So there is a sort of optimal amount of time you spend playing where you can spend all your learning points, and those players among you who play a whole lot will notice that your learning points are not always available. But for those players who are not playing several hours a day, your learning points will eventually start stacking up and you have no way of spending them. And with our changes now, you will actually be able to spend them anytime, however with a penalty. So if you have made no progress on the achievement so far at all, and you decide to spend some learning points to unlock the achievement, then you'll suffer a significant penalty to the amount of learning points. Well, you basically have to pay more, but it does give you a chance to spend it. So we're very excited to bring you that at this phase of beta, where a lot of you will probably not have played for a while, and maybe in the last moments of beta you now have a chance to unlock a bunch of things and try out a bunch of things if you've stacked up learning points. Like I haven't had a chance to really spend all of mine. Yes, and that is it actually for Darien.
Because these are basically the things that we can actually add to the game as it is right now, without wiping and without doing everything, starting over from scratch. Which is what's gonna happen right before Beta 2, sometime later this summer. So what you can expect kind of time frame wise is we're gonna do Darien
pretty
soon. And then we will give you some time, and us to develop the world, to actually play with these new updates, and we test out these changes. And then once we're at a state where we are happy with the world and the new changes, we're gonna launch the next beta, and obviously we're gonna wipe this one.
Yeah.
So that's gonna happen later summer, right?
Yeah. So this is it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and look forward to the world building video with Jörg and his team, which will show off what's been happening on the world.
Stay tuned, and goodbye.
Goodbye.